Archer Aviation. We have dived into the top 5 holders of Archer Aviation, and then we've got a surprise for you. Right, this all came from me and Reese having a quick discussion with each other after the live stream about how much shares Cathy Wood actually held, and then was she one of the top investors? Reese, do you want to tell the guys a little bit more about the discussion we had?
Yeah, so it all started last week. Me and Liam on a phone call, and we were just discussing, and we were saying that Cathy Wood was the biggest investor, or was she the biggest investor? More like. So then we decided that we had to have a look and find out who are the biggest investors, because we want to know who's got each slice of the pie and who's very invested into the company. And to be honest, it was quite interesting, and we thought the guys and girls in the community would like to find out about this, because I think as investors we need to know who's backing us, and are they reputable, or are they just there for the quick buck, and once we go up to the $20 are they going to all sell out? And I think that's what sort of led us into this discussion about finding who are the top 5, and then what is the percentage that they have in Archer. And I thought the findings were remarkable.
Well, yeah, honestly, like, I'm telling you, the last one, I actually can't believe it.
Yeah.
That will raise a few eyebrows, put it that way.
Yeah. I think it's really, even got to change one of our main sayings that we probably have on a lot of the streams. But I think we'll probably leave that to the end, and we'll discuss with the people about that.
And guys, make sure to hit that subscribe button so we can get to that 2,000 mark. And guys, hit the like button just so we can share it to more people. Right, Reese, we're going to jump right into it.
Let's jump into it. I'm very excited for this video. And so we can see here that Stellantis are the top institutional investor, and they hold 11.15%. And with the current market value of $8.72, that's $527 million. Were you surprised with this one, Liam?
I'm not gonna lie to the guys. I would have expected Stellantis to probably be the top. If we compare that to the likes of Toyota, I believe Toyota is one of the top holders of Joby Aviation. Did I expect it to be a little bit more? Probably. However, I do think as Archer moves forward as a company, we're going to get increased partnerships with Stellantis. And I just think that holdings is just going to increase further and further as we go on. So if they sold them all today, they'd be worth around 500 million. Look, guys, Stellantis are here to stay. We know that Carlos Tavares leaving did have a little bit of upset across the whole retail community. However, one person leaving a company is not always the end of the world. Yes, we can say the likes of Elon Musk leaving Tesla would be absolutely detrimental. However, was Carlos Tavares that pivotal man in Stellantis, or was it the board behind him that are actually driving the business forward? And this is what I believe. I honestly believe the whole board collaborating together is what's driving Stellantis. Have they pivoted away from the likes of electric vehicles? Maybe. However, holding this amount of Archer Aviation, I just think it's going to be full steam ahead. What are your thoughts, Rose?
Yeah, no, very similar. I think it's quite a significant investment that they've put into it. So I highly doubt it was one man and he just went on a mission just down a completely side road, and nobody else was involved in the deal, and now he's gone. The deal's just going to get pulled away. I imagine there would have been an entire team and people that bought into the vision and the program that Archer are planning to do. And they're looking forward, and they're saying that this could be the next generation of transport. And I think that's why they've invested so much. And obviously, I think the way that the cars are going at the moment, that they're trying to become all electric and move into that sort of niche on the automobiles on the road, this would be them getting their slice of the pie on the next generation of eVTOLs and aircrafts and aviation. So to be honest, it's a massive play by them, but I think they've got in a really good early stage. And for me, it shows how confident that they are that this will become a success. But
Yeah,
one
and
thing I did want to bring up was that I actually seen the other day, bringing it back to the tariffs we were discussing last week, was that at the moment they get 30% of their components from Mexico and Canada. So I imagine at the moment they're probably feeling a bit of a pinch as well, which is a bit of a funny sidebar. But yeah, that did tickle me when I seen that.
yeah, and then talking about like electric cars, electric vehicles, we said it in the live stream recently. We said that people were afraid of like the likes of full self-driving and that coming around. But then we
Yeah,
compared the likes of Lime bikes and everyone has their own used case. So like you may get a bike to and from work. However, you wouldn't bring your whole family on a bike. The same with the eVTOLs. The eVTOLs would be used around the airports
yeah,
and bringing people to business meetings on speed. However, I don't believe they'll be used going to the shop. That's where your full self-driving your Ubers will. But there is room for every single one of them in today's market. So I do believe this whole industry is going to be $1 trillion industry. But will we jump
yeah.
onto the second holder?
I think so. Yeah, I think that leads us on quite nicely.
So we
That
have the man himself, Adam Goldstein. Adam owns 6.72%. And for any of you guys that don't know, Adam is the CEO of Archer Aviation. He owns 36.5 million, more or less. And at today's market value, that'd be 318.07 million. Reese, were you surprised to see Adam Goldstein as the second biggest holder of Archer?
yes, I definitely was. But does he deserve it? I would say so. 100%. I think at the moment he's the flag bearer. He's got it on his back, and at the moment he's doing a great job. 6.72%. I can imagine that he'll be looking, if there are any dips, I could see him adding to it. He's a massive believer in this. He's the front runner. They are trailblazing in the industry at the moment, especially with the defense contracts we've discussed previously. Yeah, I'm not surprised that he's in the top three, but possibly the fact that he's the second is quite surprising. How did you find it?
Yeah, well, to be fair, I did expect, like, say, Cathy Wood to be ahead of him. It's
Yeah,
not that Adam's not bullish. Like, Adam is the most bullish man. I've said it before. The most bullish man about Archer Aviation.
yeah,
Now, 6.72%, that is a significant amount for a single individual. However, does he deserve it? As you said, of course he does. He more or less single-handedly has pushed Archer forward. And then he's created this massive PR team that are more or less inflating the amount of coverage Archer
yeah,
gets. And it makes us feel like sometimes, are they eclipsing Joby? But that's a discussion for another day.
yeah.
Then moving on to our third one, we have the
Here we
woman
go.
herself. This is mine and Reese's future wife, Cathy
Oh,
Wood.
if only, yeah. She'd probably want a prenup though.
So ARK Investment Management have 5.51%, and it's 29 million shares, and the current value of it would be 260 million. Now, Reese, 5%, could you see that increasing significantly anytime soon?
Yeah, I think so. I think once they get that part certification over the line, and once they actually start manufacturing and they see the speed that they're manufacturing at, I could see ARC investing, because she does like to go quite heavy if she does believe in the project. But the funny thing is, comparing it now to what Adam holds, it really does go to show that Adam has a massive share in this, and you can see why he's the face of the business and why he is so driven to get it over the line and make it a success.
Yeah.
What about you with Cathy Wood? You know, she's a big fan favorite on this channel.
Yeah. So, guys, you're going to be surprised that Reese said that she will add after part certification, but this is exactly what we mean. Sometimes you're better investing in a company once you have the information as it comes out. You're much better and safer investing in a company when you know they have been certified. Look, she has a significant share in Archer at the moment. I wouldn't be too surprised if she adds on further dips. However, I could see her waiting a little bit more for either further dips or further information on how close we are to certification.
Yeah.
At number 4, now I'm going to be dead honest with you guys. I didn't know much about Marquis Law before me and Reese looked into this. He owns 5.15% of Archer, and that's 27 million shares. Well, it's more or less 28 million. So he's pushing up when it comes to ARK Invest.
Yeah.
And at today's value, it would be 243.52 million. Reese, was this a strange one for you?
Yeah, well, as similar to what you were saying, I hadn't actually heard of Mark Elor. We had a quick check. He sold Jet.com to Walmart for $3 billion. So that's a bit of a track record of maybe finding a diamond in the rough and then selling it on. But it's a significant share. You won't be outlaying that sort of money if you don't believe in the project, which I imagine it's the same for all of them. But yeah, 5.15%. And to be honest, I haven't actually seen that mentioned in many places.
No.
Like usually I've heard a lot of Stellantis, ARK Investment, obviously Adam. But Marquis Law seems to be a bit of an unsung hero in the Archer community. If any of you guys know more about Marquis Law, can you let us know in the comments anything that we've missed, or if you have any good links, put them in the comments, and me and Liam can have a review and find out a bit more about this silent investor.
Yeah, well, I would like to know quite a bit more about Marquis Law because, look, me and Reese have been totally honest here. Until we done this dive, I didn't even know your man existed. And that is being dead honest. Some of you guys are probably going to jump in and say, how did you not know? But look, we're being entirely honest here.
Yeah, he must be massive over. He's probably massive over in America and everything, like a household name probably. And yeah, he just hasn't made it over to the UK, unfortunately. So yeah, forgive us for this one. So who's the next one then? Who's 5th?
So then at number 5, this is what got this whole video started. It was BlackRock. And we were like, how much does BlackRock own? And do they own more than ARK Invest themselves? So BlackRock own 4.24% of Archer, and that's around 23 million shares at a value today of 200 million. Now, Reese, would you have expected them to own more of Archer? Are you bullish on this? Or is it a bit like BlackRock more or less stick their fingers in all the pies?
Yeah, that is something for sure. They have a finger in every single pie. But the fact that they have invested, I always do find a bit of solace. I've seen at the moment they're going for like the Bitcoins and stuff like that. I think they are always trying to keep on the edge of technology. And I imagine that also comes from, let's not say secret meetings, but I imagine they have a lot of ears on the ground and they know where the next big stock is going to be, because they always seem to have a great, like a decent share in the stock at a decent price. And this is exactly the same.
And guys, if you've made it this far, this last one is what is going to surprise you. It's the biggest holding by far. However, before we get into it, make sure to smash that like button. And then I'm going to speak about BlackRock first. So BlackRock, look, I sort of take BlackRock with a pinch of salt. They were one of the biggest investors in the likes of Virgin Galactic, and we know where that went.
Yeah.
So BlackRock, it feels like, as you say, they always have their ear to the ground. And some of the guys say that they can only get public information. But are you telling me if you invested for 23 million shares, you haven't had a few, no secret meetings where you sort of get a better understanding, a belief in the company? Look, BlackRock, I'm not saying I'm bearish on it, but it doesn't make me.
It doesn't move the needle. It won't move the needle for you. You're very much the same as if they weren't. No, that's fair enough. To be honest, yeah. I think if you went done top 5 for most companies, I imagine they're there or thereabouts for the majority of them.
What surprised me when we were doing this, once we got to number 4, I was thinking surely BlackRock's number 5 because they had to be in the top 5.
Yeah. They're always there or thereabouts.
let's get into it. The top shareholder of Archer Aviation, and it's going to change some people's opinions on the stock. It may even change our staying, as Reese said, in the company. Retail. Retail owns 33.37% of Archer. That's 181 million shares.
Yes.
At a value of today of 1.57 billion. Reese, talk to me. What is this?
Well, I know that at least 30% of that obviously is the Hustle Brothers' own portfolios. So the other 3%, they've done well to add up to that. But no, seriously, that shocked me massively, because I know our usual saying is about the retail investors don't move the market. But this is completely to the contrary. We're looking at this, and you're saying that the retail investors have a third of the market. So if we are moving, and I think that's what we seen during our live stream for Archer on the earnings call, where we seen that there was all of a sudden a price drop, and then everyone panicked, and then it dropped another 10%. And you can see why now, because there is such a large share of retail investors in Archer Aviation. And it's so funny because this is at the moment a volatile stock, because the fact that they haven't reached commercialization, and they haven't got their part certification, so they haven't obviously got to that stage yet. But such a major percentage it was a massive shock for me. What about you? How did you feel on it?
Yeah, so really, this really made me go down a rabbit hole, and it's a bit of a selfish rabbit hole, but what I really wanted to say was, like, I wonder how much shares the Hustle Brother community owns. Because we have a community of nearly 2,000 people. And guys, if you're not in it, make sure to smash that subscribe button. But guys, please let us know, how many shares do you have? I don't care about how much you've paid for these shares, but how many shares do you have? Because it would be interesting to, like, get an Excel sheet up and sort of, like, put everyone down and see how many shares people own, and then see how many of the 33% that the Hustle Brother community owns.
Yeah, 100%. And we need to try and find whatever percentage we are now. We need to try and find the rest of them, and then we'll all come together in a community and share our thoughts.
And really, does this make me bullish? This makes me much more bullish than the likes of seeing BlackRock owning 4%. Knowing that, look, it's in good hands. We know retail can be emotional, and that's what we try and sort of explain the channel, not to be emotional. However, the fact that retail own that amount, it sort of gives me hope that this company is going to do what we think it's going to do. Now, do you think it's going to start being snatched up by the big institutions? I do believe so, but
I think once they, as I said, similar to the ARK Invest, once the part certification, they start manufacturing, the revenue starts coming in, that's when the big, and they just need a stamp of approval, don't they? That this is working, and we're going to get to a point where we're making money. And then that's when you'll see, I imagine this chart will completely change. But for the moment, it shows us retail investors do have quite a big say.
Massively.
Believe it or not.
And then, guys, really, this just came to my head too. Would you like us to do this type of video once a quarter, once every 6 months, or once every year? Please let us know below. But guys, if you haven't seen it, Archer Aviation done a partnership with Palantir, so I'll make sure to drop that video next so you can find out all about it.
100%. Give that video a watch. It's a great video. And thanks to you all for watching, and I'll catch you next time.